What if your running injury rehab that you really don't want to do actually made you faster? That's what I want to talk about today because a lot of runners don't appreciate the overlap between the things that help you resolve running injuries and prevent future injuries and actually running faster and improving your performance. So we're going to look at it through the lens of our three critical components: form, strength, and resilience. For your form, there are three primary running form errors that we see continually popping up in the research as being likely to result in injuries. These are the three errors that we work on at Fix My Running first and foremost with our runners to make sure that we get rid of those because they're not helping. So we're going to look at low cadence, overstriding, and knock knee running. So low cadence is a problem from injury standpoint, because if you imagine running a 100-meter track, but you did it in 20 steps, you would have to take these gigantic, big bounding strides. And each time you hit the ground, there would be a massive jolt of stress and force through the leg. This is what's happening when you're running with a really low cadence. You're taking these massive bounding strides, and the impact per step is much higher, resulting in injury. However, when you run that same 100-meter track, but you take lots of little steps, the impact per step is much lower and easier for the body to adapt to. This is why running with a higher cadence tends to reduce the stress on our legs and results in fewer injuries and helps us recover from injuries more quickly. The really cool part is research shows that increasing your cadence 10 to 15% with most recreational runners tends to increase running economy. Running economy is having a fuel efficient car. If you have a car with low fuel efficiency, to travel a certain distance at 70 miles per hour, it will burn a lot of fuel. If you have a very fuel efficient car, it will travel that same distance at 70 miles per hour and burn less fuel. Running with a higher cadence improves running economy. It makes you more efficient. So you can travel the same distance at the same speed for less energy expenditure. When it comes to a race, you can now run faster for the same amount of energy. This is how increasing your cadence will reduce the stress on your joints, resulting in less injuries, but also help you improve your performance. And this one is closely tied to overstriding. Overstriding and cadence are very closely linked. They're not directly linked, but we often see people with a low step rate taking big bounding steps are overstriding, which means that you're landing with your foot way out in front of your center of mass. This is a problem from an injury perspective, particularly because knee pain is the most common place for runners to get injured. Now, when we overstride, we land with the foot far out in front of us. That means that we land with the knees straighter. And if you imagine jumping down off a step and landing with your knees straight, you feel that big jolt of impact go through your knees. That's what's happening when you're running with an overstride. You're landing with a big jolt through the knees every single step for 5,000 steps an hour. This means that you increase the stress on your knees and make it more likely that you'll develop knee pain. And if you have knee pain, overstriding makes it harder to recover and get out of that situation. The fix is to land under your center of mass to avoid overstriding. This does two things. One, it will flex the knee so that your muscles can absorb the impact on a bent knee rather than on a straight knee. This shunts the stress away from the joints and into the muscles where we want it. The nice part about this is when you avoid overstriding, you land with your foot under your center of mass or under your pelvis. The reason this is important for performance is if you were to overstride and land with your leg out in front of you, until your leg actually catches up and gets underneath you, you can't push yourself forward. So you're essentially running with the brakes on. When you land underneath you, you can immediately start propelling yourself forward. Overstriding is driving the car with the foot on the brake at the same time. You can go faster if you slam the accelerator, but it's easier to just take the foot off the brake. Avoiding overstriding is taking your foot off the brake. It reduces the amount of braking forces that you need to overcome to move forward, making you running more efficient and faster. So avoiding overstriding is better for your knees and it'll help you run faster. Knock knee running is when the knee comes over towards the other one. Sometimes they'll brush together as they pass each other. This creates torque in the knee and is being linked to things like patellofemoral pain and IT band pain. Essentially, by increasing that torque and stress on the knee, it makes it more likely that the knee will become injured. And if you have an injury, it makes it more difficult to overcome it. Reducing the knock knee running and opening the knee window so your knee stays in alignment as you push not only reduces the torque on the knee and helps you overcome knee injuries and avoid knee injuries, it actually makes you a more efficient runner. Because you're keeping your knee in alignment instead of letting it cave in towards the other side, you're not wasting energy pulling it back into alignment before you push forwards. Keeping the knee tracking in alignment allows you to express all of the energy that you're putting out as forward propulsion instead of pulling your knee back into alignment. Again, increasing efficiency doesn't sound like much, but when you consider we take 5,000 steps an hour, every little bit helps and it really racks up as the miles accumulate. Now, let's talk about strength. If you ever listen to this show, you know that I'm a big advocate of runners doing heavy strength training, including plyometric work, to make sure that they are really strong and really powerful in their muscles. This has two benefits. From the recovery standpoint, in terms of avoiding injuries, stronger muscles allow us to absorb the impact when we hit the ground. Every step we take when we're running, 3 to 5 times our body weight comes back up through our leg as a ground reaction force. We have two ways of absorbing that. We can use our muscles or we can use our other structures like our bones, our tendons, our joints, and our ligaments. If our muscles are weak, we'll put more stress on the other structures and make it more likely that they'll get injured. If our muscles are strong, we'll put less stress on those other structures and it helps to protect them from injury. So that's why strength training is really beneficial in terms of avoiding injuries, but it's also helpful in terms of improving performance, because stronger muscles can propel you forwards faster. When you're running, you're going to jump off one leg onto the other one. If your muscles are stronger, you can push down and back into the ground with more force. And if you have high power, meaning your muscles can contract very quickly and very strongly, it'll also allow you to push that force into the ground very quickly. Stronger muscles means that you can run at a faster speed for the same effort. So again, having stronger muscles and doing regular strength training as a runner will allow you to help protect yourself from injury, help you recover from injuries, and make you a faster runner. In fact, research shows that runners who do good quality strength training, meaning heavy 2 to 3 times a week, high weight, low reps, 5 reps, 8 reps, weight as heavy as they can move without losing their form and trying to increase the weight as the weeks pass, that kind of high quality strength training can result in an 8% improvement in running economy. And if you're wondering what that is, try knocking 8% off your PR for your last race and tell me if you will be happy with that result. Now, what about resilience? Resilience is the ability of our joints, tendons, ligaments, bones, and other structures to tolerate the impact stress of running. Running is almost always a repetitive stress injury sport. There are far fewer acute injuries in running than there are repetitive stress injuries. Obviously, having higher resilience, having joints that are stronger, bones that are stronger, tendons and ligaments that are stronger, that they have more resilience, can tolerate more pounding before they break down and become injured. Obviously, that helps prevent injuries. In fact, I would go as far as to say it's the most important thing when it comes to preventing and recovering from running injuries. However, it also helps improve performance, although somewhat indirectly. So the primary way that it benefits us is consistency. When you're able to be consistent with your running and your training through the year, you don't have to back off when you get injuries and niggles. You can continually progress, and that progress compounds over time. So that consistency is really helpful. The other way that it helps us is annual mileage. So when it comes to endurance runners, performance is pretty strongly linked to just the number of miles that you run in a given period. So a runner who runs more miles per year will be faster than that same runner in the same situation with the same genetics who runs less miles per year. And if you're constantly getting niggles and injuries that are forcing you to take a few days off, a week off, miss a training session, you might miss 30 days of training in a year, even without a major injury. That's a month of training. When you have really high resilience, you have really strong bones, ligaments, tendons, and joints that can tolerate a lot of impact. then you don't get injured so often, you don't get niggles so often. You can cover more miles in each year. This is going to improve your running performance. It also helps because when you have more resilience, when your structures are tougher, each session causes less micro trauma to those bones, tendons, ligaments, and joints. And because there's less damage to them from each session, it's easier to recover and repair, meaning that you can bounce back and do a run the next day, and you can do 2 or 3 higher intensity workouts in a week, and without getting niggles, pains, aches, or injuries, because your body has the resilience to tolerate those harder sessions. And then doing those harder sessions and doing them consistently without breaks because of injury, this leads to an improvement in performance, which is why having toughness in our joints, in our structures, having resilience is really beneficial for our performance, as well as avoiding injuries. So to sum up, when we have better form, we will get injured less often, because we're not putting the stress on our structures in the wrong way. We will also move more efficiently, allowing us to perform better and run faster. When we have stronger muscles, we are better able to attenuate the forces and stresses of running and protect our joints, tendons, ligaments, and bones. This means less injuries, but when we're stronger, we're also able to propel ourselves forward faster, resulting in better performance and faster race times. And finally, having toughness in our structures, having higher resilience, means that we'll get injured less. So obviously less injuries, but also more consistency and progression in our training, resulting in better performance. So fix the form, build the muscles, strengthen the structures, make sure you have form, strength, and resilience dialed in, and you will minimize the effect of injuries on your running and maximize your performance. If you would like some help to put together a plan that will help you get over your injury but also improve your performance, we'd love to chat to you about it. Just click the link in the description and book a call with us, and we'll have a chat, see what's going on, and see how we can help.